Welcome back to the Fletch Cast. Two important updates. One thing on this podcast is, I'm always going to tell you the truth, and I'm not going to be afraid to give you my opinions. And frankly, my opinions will also, I think, be based upon fact and accuracy. I told you a month and a half ago that this lawsuit against Jay Z and Puff Daddy were utter bullshit, nonsense, absurdity. The lawsuit in which the alleged 13-year-old victim made all of these crazy claims about how she had been taken to this white mansion and all of these things happened. I was the first and I think the only podcaster in America to say that's bullshit. She's lying. She's not telling the truth. All the national media was, oh my God, Jay-Z did this and Jay-Z's going to get indicted and all of this. And I'm the only one that walked you through the allegations and said, these are absurd. Said they're absurd. I also pointed out that Jay-Z had a lawyer, a guy named Alex Sparrow, who looked to be a real lawyer, someone who wasn't afraid to fight. Update on this case. Jay-Z rape lawsuit dismissed, sues Tony Busby for defamation. Tony Busby was the scumbag lawyer who was representing the alleged 13-year-old victim and made all of these horrible allegations against Jay-Z, and the national media ran with it. Never once suggested or even thought maybe we should look at these allegations. Maybe we should just give the alleged the person being accused some semblance of reasonable doubt, some benefit of the doubt. He is a billionaire businessman, but because he's frankly, in my opinion, a person of color and wealthy, the media doesn't care. They'll just run them through the ground. And so no one did that. National media just automatically said Jay-Z was a rapist, raped a 13, a child rapist at that. Turns out it's not true. It was dismissed. The lawsuit was dismissed last week with prejudice. That's the other thing the national media won't say is it was dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can't file it again, meaning it is done, finished, and untrue. Untrue. They ran this guy through the mud, ran his family through the mud, did everything they could to trash this guy. And when it's all said and done, the alleged victim was lying the whole time. Whole time. I am the only podcaster, only influencer in America. Go look and see who said this is crazy. Don't buy what the media says. Don't believe this person's story. It makes no sense. Jay-Z has been cleared. Also, P. Diddy was cleared of these allegations. And it goes to my point, which is don't just accept what the national media says. Don't do it. Don't do it. They'll just run with anything. They won't ever apply just a reasonable standard to what it is that's being alleged. And by this, I mean, one of the things I want to talk about, it's the P. Diddy 1,000 bottles of baby oil and stuff like that. The media will say what the government wants them to say, and they will just expect that you all won't apply any reasonable thought to the idea. I'm telling you, these facts against Jay-Z were meaningless and were wrong and weren't accurate, and they were belittling to actual sexual assault victims who were actually sexually assaulted. The idea that this person who 24 years later came forward with non-believable claims was portrayed as a victim of sexual abuse is outrageous. To the millions and millions of victims out there, actual victims, it was belittling and it did a disservice. So good for you, Jay-Z. Good for you, P. Diddy. Good for you, attorney Alex Sparrow, for going out and standing and fighting the good fight. There is also another development, and let me show this to you. ASAP Rocky not guilty. ASAP Rocky rapper shares emotional hug with Rihanna after verdict that said he's not guilty. On this podcast, I said 3 different times, I think I did 4 podcasts saying ASAP Rocky is crazy for not taking the plea bargain, that plea deal they offered. I think it was he had spent 6 years on probation or something like that, do 180 days in jail, which would have been a day. And I said he was crazy. I truly said it, and I believe it then, and I believe it now. But let me say this. Congratulations to ASAP Rocky. Congratulations to his lawyer, who I did not think was doing his client justice. I was wrong about that in the sense that they went out and got a not guilty. But I wasn't wrong on the fact that this was a risk of 20 years in prison that was unbelievable. You just can't take it. It's not, in my opinion, well advised. And I want to show you something. And again, I was wrong. I thought he would be convicted. I just did. One is I didn't know how bad this ASAP rally was. But I want to show you something that will, I think, support what I've said a little bit. I want you to see ASAP Rocky's reaction to being told he's not guilty. Now, if he wasn't scared, if there wasn't anything to it, you tell me if you think he would react the way that he did. But let me play this for you, and you tell me. Here's the verdict. And we just read he's not guilty. Now watch. Here he goes, hugs this woman, and dives over the railing. Dives over the railing, hugging Rihanna, doing all of that. Dives over the railing. Now, you can tell me whatever you want, but if you thought for sure you were not guilty and you had no concerns, you don't hug your attorney, hug another attorney, and run and dive over the railing. Again, I'm happy for him. I couldn't watch the verdict come back because I was sick to my stomach because I didn't want anyone going to prison, especially when they didn't have to. But the fact that he ran and dove over the railing really kind of bears out my point, which was it was an insane risk, an insane gamble. He called it right. He was correct. It's his life, and he's entitled to risk it. He is. Applaud him for that. I still think it was the craziest thing in the world. You have to do a cost-benefit analysis. You have to. The end result is still the same. He wouldn't have gone to jail for any period of time. Yes, he's cleared his name, but everyone knows that wasn't a starter pistol. And so, and that's fine. And again, I'm happy for this dude. Happy for his kids, happy for Rihanna. But man, what a risk. And my point of saying take the deal is you have to do a cost benefit analysis. It was not worth the risk. It was such an insane, you know what it is? It's taking your rent money and putting it out in roulette and putting it all on a number and saying, I'm going to hit one of these and get paid 24 to 1 or 35 to 1. Sure, it can happen. And yes, you get this huge payoff, but is it worth the risk? So ASAP Rocky, applaud to you, to your attorney, applaud to him. I still think it was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Good for him. Good for justice at some level of a kid not going, or a kid, he's 36, man not going to prison for 20 years. But man, what a risk. Kind of like a risk of me not saying like and subscribe. It's been great. It's been amazing. Thank you. We have some cool stuff coming up, but thank you, and like and subscribe.